Well, the Rosauers Open actually started about 21 years ago as an idea, and it took us about a year of just talking about it and trying to figure out what charity we wanted to work with and work with the city to get the golf course set up to actually pull off the first year. So this is our 20th anniversary golf tournament. The Rosauers Open is actually two events. It's a Pro-Am that includes professionals from all over the Pacific Northwest. 65 of those play in the two-day Pro-Am. And then about 280 amateurs also play the first 2 days. The next 2 day or 3 days of the tournament are actually a professional event. So it's kind of two tournaments in one. The Pro-Am, which raises the money for the charity, creates the purse for the actual professional event. Indian Canyon, it's actually a perfect venue for a golf event like this because during the Pro-Am, it's the kind of golf course that's not incredibly long. I would think that pretty much every amateur that plays in it gets a chance to contribute to the team portion of the event. And so the nice thing about that is it includes a lot of different people that actually are playing and competing at the same time. And it's an excellent course for the professional event because it's a course that you can actually shoot a really low score on if you're playing well. And so it kind of keeps everybody's attention, keeps them interested, and it's an event that golf professionals from all over the Northwest and even some from the other parts of the country can come to and walk away feeling really good about the scores they've shot. The Vanessa Behan Crisis Nursery means a lot to me. It's very near and dear to my heart. When we started the golf tournament 20 years ago, I have to admit that I didn't know anything about it and it was just kind of out there, but I think anybody that goes there and visits it and spends 5 minutes there, walks out of there with a firm commitment that Spokane needs that place. It's an incredible charity. It's run so well. It's one of those places that just makes our community better. The Rosauers Open, the nice thing about it is every year it's very different, and every year there's lots of different things happen that you remember. I've got to say that most of my great memories from the tournament, I have some bad ones that come from shots I've hit, but most of my great memories from the tournament come from the wine party, the Pro-Am wine party and the dinners, and just to see the people interact and how supportive they are of the nursery and how the sponsors are so gung-ho to help this thing and participate, which you really don't see. And I think that what it says is that Spokane has a great sense of community, and that all the vendors, all the people that work with Rosauers, for Rosauers, the banks that participate, they all have a commitment to this town and are helping out through the golf tournament. We are always looking for volunteers, and we have probably 500 to 800, depending on the year, different volunteers that help out with the event, which just goes to show how big of an event it really is. But if anybody's ever interested in helping or wants to lend a hand, even work a couple hours during the tournament, all they have to do is call and we will find something for them to do. I'd just like to take the opportunity to again echo how important this event is to the community, and to let everybody know that participates that the volunteers make this thing go, the participants make it go, the sponsors make it go, and just my heartfelt thanks, because this makes a big difference in what happens in our town.
The Vanessa Behan Crisis Nursery started 25 years ago, actually, with the death of a little girl in our community named Vanessa Behan. And she was murdered by her mother and stepfather. Although they were acquitted, nobody was ever charged with a crime, so there's no guarantee of how the injuries actually happened. But the autopsy showed that she had endured multiple injuries throughout her life. She did not die a quick, easy death. She lived a life of suffering. There was a gentleman in our town named Bill Belkowski, and he had children about the same age as Vanessa, and he really felt like what could he personally do in Spokane to make a difference in the lives of children. He just felt like this was not something he wanted our community to accept. And so he went on a mission trying to figure out what would be the right fit for Spokane, and he found that Spokane really didn't have anything that was preventative of child abuse and neglect. So he did his own little research. He started a group of 5 board members, pulled them all together, and started raising money. And what he thought was going to take a year to get off the ground actually took him 5 years. So we opened the doors of the nursery 5 years to the day after Vanessa's death. The first year we saw about 427 children at the nursery, and last year we served over 3,000. The Rosauers Open Tournament actually started 20 years ago at the same time the Vanessa Behan Crisis Nursery opened its doors. And Gary Lindeblad came to the executive director at that time and wanted to do this golf tournament and give the proceeds to the nursery. And he guaranteed a certain amount the first year, and every year has gone above and beyond that, to the point where last year they raised $150,000 for the nursery. And it just means so much. That's just so many hours worth of care and such a huge part of our budget. It is truly one of our biggest fundraisers in the year. You know, I think the really neat thing about the funding that comes from this golf tournament is that it goes into operating and keeping our doors open, and it goes into caring for children and provides them with a safe haven so that they have love and nurturing and a good supportive environment and lots of fun things to do while they're with us. You know, I think the best thing about it is just it's a really fun event. I think people don't realize that by golfing and having a good time and enjoying themselves, how much good they're really doing. There are a lot of different things that people could do to help the crisis nursery. We have lots of volunteer positions, so there's people who come in and donate their time and work directly with our children. We have volunteers that come in and do things like vacuuming and wiping down windows and taking our garbage out, which is such a huge savings for us to not have to hire a janitorial service to do those things for us. We had volunteers in today that were mowing our lawn for us. All of our board members and people who help raise money for us are volunteers. So there's just a lot of different things that people can do that will make a huge difference. And the other thing is just awareness. We are a local nonprofit. We accept very little state or federal funding, and that means that we have to raise a lot of money to keep these doors open. So just people talking about what we do and sharing it with their friends and their family makes a difference. Having a resource like this is so important to our families because we really want them to understand that when they're stressed out or overwhelmed, there's a place to go. Our hope is to be truly preventative, that a family, before they get to the point where they might parent in a way that they regret, knows that there's a service out there that they can call, bring their children to, and get a break. So if it's a matter of a parent who needs to go grocery shopping and doesn't have a car for transportation, or there's domestic violence or substance abuse or homelessness issues, our families face a lot of different things, and we just want them to know that we can be here to support them through that. On behalf of the Vanessa Behan Crisis Nursery, I would like to just thank everybody involved with the Rosauers Open. It's a very unique collaboration in our community, and we are so grateful to all of the golfers and the people that are involved in this event.
Well, this will be the 20th year of the Rosauers Open, so the history begins way back, 20 years ago when Gary Lindeblad and a couple of other golfers and I think some other concerned people within our community, including one of our vice presidents, Bill Harrelson, got together and talked about how they could raise some additional funds to support the operating budget for the nursery. That first tournament raised $2,500. Last year we raised $115,000, so every year has gotten bigger and better, and to the point where in our 20th year we're going to surpass $1.5 million. That's a big number that helps to support the nursery's operating budget. Well, this is the 20th year of the Rosauers Open, and over that course of time we've contributed over $1.5 million to the operating budget for the nursery. That's a huge amount that goes to help prevent child abuse. The Vanessa Behan Crisis Nursery is an instrumental piece of this community. It helps to prevent child abuse. 20 plus years ago, Vanessa Behan died at the hands of abuse. And we are doing everything that we can as a corporate community to help that from happening again. And our commitment is not only from a corporate standpoint, but also from a personal standpoint. Many of our employees are involved very deeply with the nursery to ensure that those funds that are necessary for the operating budget are raised every single year. For me, personally, to be involved with the golf tournament is it's just a great time for me. I'm not a golfer, and we have made our way from the absolute bottom of the rung to the third from the bottom of the rung over time. But it's a great tournament from this aspect. We get together pros and amateurs who love the game and just love having a great time, that are also doing a great thing to help earn money for the nursery's operating budget. And there's a lot of camaraderie. There's a lot of people that come back to this tournament and see each other just once a year at this tournament. And our employees and other vendor community partners have had just a terrific time over the years participating in this tournament. The Rosauers Open Golf Tournament is a great tournament, and it's a good thing that we do for a great cause, the Vanessa Behan Crisis Nursery. There's lots of camaraderie that exists at this tournament. Some of the golfers only see each other once a year at this tournament, and some of the vendors and employees that we have involved in this tournament are in the same boat. Everybody gets together, has lots of fun, and raises a lot of money for a great, great cause. Personally, I'm not a golfer, but I play in the tournament, and I've moved from the bottom of the cellar in terms of my team performance to third from the bottom, so I feel like we're really making some progress. I think the future of the nursery is very bright, but it needs more awareness, and everything that we can do to bring more awareness to the need to handle child abuse and to bring attention to that, and also to help people understand what the nursery does in this community is absolutely well worthwhile. So our hope for the nursery is to expand it, to make it more available to more and more people who need to use the nursery. At the same time, I think my personal hope is that our community will band together and really educate people about child abuse so that we don't have to have this situation occurring in our community. Well, I want to thank all of the participants in the golf tournament, the amateurs as well as the pros, for making this such a great event. We have a lot of sponsors out there who help to raise the funds, and I want to tell them thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts for the work that they're doing to help prevent child abuse in this community. It's really, truly a great thing that they do, and I think most of them don't really even know it.